In the previous verse, the Buddha reminded us that outer appearance alone has no true value. Wearing symbols of purity, adopting religious forms, or being seen as spiritual does not mean the mind is free from defilement. Without restraint and truthfulness, outward signs become empty. Now, in this verse, the Buddha turns our attention to what truly makes a person worthy, not in the eyes of society, but in the deeper sense of the Dhamma. This verse completes the teaching by showing us the positive path, how inner purification gives real meaning to outer forms.
Yochavantaka savassa silesu susamahito upeto dhammasacchena saveka savam arahati.
The Buddha teaches that one who has cast off inner stains, greed, hatred, and delusion is a person of genuine worth. When the mind is cleansed of these defilements, actions naturally become gentle, speech becomes truthful, and conduct becomes upright. Such a person is firmly established in virtue. Their moral discipline is not forced or performed for display, it is steady, natural, and rooted in understanding. Virtue here is not merely following rules, but living with care, respect, and responsibility toward oneself and others. The Buddha highlights two essential qualities, restraint and truthfulness. Restraint means knowing where to stop, in speech, in action, and in desire. It is the quiet strength that prevents the mind from being pulled in every direction by craving. Truthfulness means aligning one's inner intentions with outer actions, without deception or self-justification. When these qualities are present, outer symbols gain meaning. The robe, the title, or the role no longer stand alone. They become expressions of an inner reality. In this way, dignity is not assumed, it arises naturally from character. This verse teaches us that worthiness is not something granted by others. It is not dependent on recognition, status, or appearance. True worth is built moment by moment, through ethical choices, mindful restraint, and sincere effort on the path. The Buddha is not speaking only to monks or renunciants. This teaching applies to anyone walking the path of Dhamma. Whether lay or ordained, what matters is the purification of the mind and the integrity of one's conduct. When virtue becomes the foundation of life, trust arises effortlessly. When truth guides speech and action, respect follows naturally. And when the mind is free from inner stains, one's presence itself becomes calm and meaningful. In this way, the Buddha shows us that the outer and the inner are not opposed, but the inner must come first. Only then does the outer truly reflect the Dhamma. Verse 9 warned us not to confuse outer appearance with inner purity. It reminds us that symbols, titles, and outward forms have no value if the mind remains untrained and the heart unchanged. Without restraint and truthfulness, even the most sacred forms can become empty. Verse 10 then guides us toward what truly gives meaning to those forms. It shows us that genuine worth arises from inner purification, steady virtue, and a life lived in honesty and restraint. When these qualities are present, outer roles and symbols naturally reflect inner truth. Together, these verses teach us that the Dhamma is not something we display for others to see. It is something we cultivate quietly, through our choices, our conduct, and the way we relate to the world each day. The Dhamma is not something we wear. It is something we live. If this reflection was meaningful to you, consider subscribing to continue this journey together.